Hey there. I wanted to come live just because I haven't come live in a long time. We're having a snow day right now, and I've actually been recording videos. So I said, let me come in and go live so that way everyone can see what's going on. I'm actually going to put my phone on at the same time so I don't want to miss anyone's questions. I try to do this at the same time. Here we go. All right. So if you were not on my live, or on my free call that I had this Sunday, we launched our waxing business community. And the waxing business community is something I've been working on for a long time. Typically, I've been doing one online course for boot camp, or I've been doing for the viewing room, you have to buy the 7 minute Brazilian, or for the illuminating treatment, you take separate classes. What I've done now is that I combined everything. So there's one place that has all of my trainings, all of my master classes, everything is in one space. You don't have to take this class, you don't have to take that class. You can go and have access to everything that I offer all at one time. And so we launched that this Sunday. We have lots of folks already in there, especially for those of you who've been wanting to learn how to monetize your Facebook group, or you have wanted to take the 7 minute Brazilian boot camp. You've wanted to watch my troubleshooting videos and you never had an opportunity to do that. I created a community where you see everything. So I have my coaching calls in there. So waxing businesses that are coaching with me, I actually post the video from our Zoom in there so everyone can watch and see what they're doing really well, what they're not doing really, really well, what people are working on. We have challenges in our waxing business community as well. So the fact that they have access to all 12 of our master classes, the how to do free gift with service, how to offer client appreciation events. Are you ready to private label? How to private label correctly? I'm trying to think of, I have 12, so I'm not going to name all of the master classes. How to do your business 24/7. So we finally have an opportunity for all of these waxing businesses to go into one space, but you have access to watch all the trainings as much as you want. Previously, what I've done is I've done where you just had to pay for the class, you only had it access for a month and then it went away. Or if you wanted to pay for my troubleshooting video, you paid for the class, you had it for 30 days and then it went away. So the way that the waxing business community is you have obviously a yearly option. Those of you who pay for a year, you get a free coaching call, but you have a monthly option, but you have access to everything. So you can quit it whenever you want. There's a lot of content in there. There's also accountability options for you. So if you are needing someone to have an accountability partner, you need someone to push you along, you need to find some new ideas to do in the business because maybe what you're doing isn't working. So I really am really excited for it. It's definitely needed. I've talked to a lot of people who have said, there's so many community groups and so many coaches that really just focus on skincare, or they focus on facials, or they focus on their business, but it's never been geared to waxing. It's never been geared to getting your business on an e-commerce. It's never talked about monetizing Facebooks. Like, a lot of people don't quite understand that the businesses that are really, really successful, they're not on their own. Like, I've had multiple business coaches. I know businesses that are doing well into the six figures. They have coaches as well. It never happens on your own. But our issue, especially as estheticians and especially as waxers, we feel that the waxing is kind of the only space that we can go. Like, we don't quite understand that our waxing business can have multiple ways of earning money, and then we don't understand how to set them up either. So my goal in creating the waxing business community was to, one, have waxers be in the same space. Two, understand that the businesses that are doing extremely well, they're open to having conversations to say what has worked for them and what hasn't worked for them. Our issue is we don't have a space where we can talk about things that really work well. We don't have a space to talk about maybe things that we're thinking about. We don't have a space that we can have accountability and people can push us and we can be inspired by saying, oh my gosh, they have 800 people in their Facebook group and their Facebook group is another income stream. We don't have that space, right? So I decided to do that. Sarah said, this is awesome. I'm finally in a place career wise where I can implement body waxing. Yes. And I think the thing with waxing, and I think even with setting up your business, some of us get really complacent when we have a little bit of clientele, but we're not willing to do the things to continue to have growth. Like, we don't understand the importance of appreciation. We don't quite understand that products can be such a better tool than what we're using them. So for me, it was more of, okay, I have 12 master classes, all on how to make sure that you can continually have income. I have podcasts, right? And then I have all of these classes that I've done on the 7 Minute Brazilian, but I've never put them all into one space. So, what I've done for this year is I've provided one space for absolutely everything that you can think of that's under the sun. And then the new master classes that I do will also go into the community. I'm kind of done with the waxing classes. I've kind of done as much as I can. I already have plus size in there. I have, different positions for waxing. I have troubleshooting. Like, I really can't go any place farther unless I wanted to go to waxing men, but that's kind of not on my that's not in my space. But I've kind of done enough on the waxing videos. I also wanted to put in the illuminating treatment training. So that is also in the waxing business community. So anything that I've done as far as video training is in there. And then all of our master classes that I've done is also in there. And then there's people in there conversating. So it's a really amazing community. I would always encourage many of you, if you are thinking about joining, because you are interested in looking at something, but it's not available anymore. So I'm no longer having anything separate. It is all in that group. I've made it very easy. There's no more confusion. We had someone say, "Oh, I just want to watch this." Nope, you'll have access to all of it, because there's nothing wrong with watching a troubleshooting video. There's nothing like trying to watch how to get out of once the wax is all gummed up or the hair is so long that it's moving around in the wax. Like, there's nothing like watching that, but then why not watch what it looks like when it's done correctly? What are some of the positioning ideas on a plus size client? There's not a lot of training videos in the market, even on YouTube, that are free, that offer those types of help and technique. Because it's not, in my opinion, YouTube has its place, but at the same time, when you start talking about developing a specific way to wax, you got to do it the same way, no matter what the person is, whether it's a male or has male genitalia or female genitalia, whether they're plus size or skinny, it doesn't matter. You have to get a technique together. So for me, it was more of, okay, let's put everything in one space. They want to do illuminating, it's there. They want to take boot camp, it's there. They want to look at my troubleshooting videos, it's there. They want to, you want to open your Facebook group and start monetizing it, that training is there. You want to look at private label, that training is there. You want to learn how to appreciate your clients all year round, it's there. So all of those things that I have been training estheticians for now is all under one place, one house. I am excited that we will be able to show the coaching calls for those of you who want to watch them. And you can watch what people are working on, and then you might get some ideas as well. That's the one thing about putting yourself in a community where you have people working all to the same space. You start to get ideas, you start to become inspired, you start to say, wow, I didn't think of doing that, but that might work in my business, but let me work on implementing that. Or I didn't think about this, right? We just don't have a space, but actually we do now. So I'm really excited for um, those that are already in and they're working hard, right? And then those of you who are kind of trying to figure out exactly what you want to do. The beginning of the year is really where a lot of things happen. Your prices should go up. You should, right? Implement new things, but a lot of us don't ever work on the business part. We're great at what we do with our hands and the services we provide, but we don't want to work on the business part. This is really about getting you to understand you have to have the business part down to grow. If you don't, you'll stay where you are. Nora said, I'm restructuring my business and waxing is going to be a huge focus. Took a 7 Minute Brazilian training back in 2015. I love it. I lost my DVD in a move years ago. Oh my gosh. The fact that you still have a DVD. I think I may have one or two. Um, so yeah, the DVD, definitely, we don't even offer that anymore. But yeah, the opportunity for waxing, and this is why I did my webinar where, how to recession proof your waxing business. It's a thing that we have to come to the understanding of. We should get to the point where we don't want to have an ebb and flow business. We don't want to just have a busy season. We want to have a busy year. But unless you understand that the busy year has to have these things a part of it, then you're only going to have a busy season. And for some of you, it's only going to be a busy month. My goal is always to help you understand that there are thriving businesses in our industry, but there's things that they're doing that you may not be doing, but this is how you start doing them, right? And I think when you start talking about waxing, it's not the service. It's bigger than the service. It's more of how are they experiencing you? What is it that you're providing them that no one else is going to do? And once you figure that out, then you execute. And then you do that well. You love on them well. You appreciate them publicly. You do all of those things so that they in turn refer. So they refer people of like, you know? We get so focused on new clients, and new clients is not what builds your business. I've said this for years. It is the ones that keep your doors open. But if you don't acknowledge and love on them, then why would they refer? And do you have services that are referable? Are you offering an experience that's referable? If it's not referable, then you're not getting referrals. So then you have to come back and say, well, dang, I do a great service. I feel like I talk to them well, but what am I missing? And I think that's the part that a lot of waxing businesses miss, especially if you want to set yourself apart from all these corporate and franchises that are not going to do what you're going to do. So you already have a leg up. But if you don't acknowledge that leg up, then you kind of you become complacent. You become very lazy. You become, I know people are coming. Your goal is to grow your clientele so they're coming 12 times a year. It's not about just saying, oh, I have a business and people show up for their appointments. No, I want everyone that is a patron in my business to show up 12 times a year. So if I have people that don't show up 12 times a year to me and they show up maybe six, what am I doing so that they're not showing up 12 times a year? Because everyone that has come to my business, my goal is to see them every month, at least, right? So if you are willing to sit down and say, maybe I am offering a service that may not be referable. So then what am I going to do to make it referable, right? I do a great job at removing their hair, but there may be some things in my experience that I can tweak a little bit. I may need to love on them a little bit more. I may need to look at what I'm doing and do it a little bit different. And I think that's the part where, you have to be open to say, I could have more referrals, but maybe I'm not doing things that are referable. So how do I do things that are referable? And that's when it starts coming to the customer experience. That's when it starts talking to the loving. If you watched my webinar, I was very specific. I said, if you have one client that took care of your bills for the month and they showed up and they always tipped you and they always do these things, you would talk to them very different. They would have a different experience. They would be excited. You would be excited before they came in. You would tell them how excited you were. You would do all these things because that one client is paying your bills. They're paying you enough to have salary. They're tipping you. They're buying your retail. But the key to it, and this is how I flip it, is you do have clients that are taking care of you, but you're not appreciating them. You treat them very different. If you have one client that took care of everything for the month, your rent, your salary, they tipped you, they bought everything that you put in front of them, and they showed up, they never canceled, you would treat them different. You would say, thank you for coming in. Wouldn't you? Yes. You would say a week out or 2 days before, I can't wait to see you, because you knew they were going to pay everything. But then why don't we treat every client that way? Like, we have to get past the understanding that, yeah, I have a business, but no, it's the relationship and it's the experience that people want to experience with you. So I always say your goal should be every client is going to see you no less than 12 times a year. And if you have clients that are not seeing you 12 times a year, then it's time to figure out what you're doing and the reason they're not seeing you 12 times a year. That's it. And then once you figure that out, you're duplicating that. So if you're going to tell your best client that never cancels on you, you can't wait to see them and thank you for coming, then why can't you do that for every client? Oh, I know, because you're focusing on new clients. You're trying to get new clients in the door, but that's not how this business works. We're in the relationship business. We just offer services, right? So if we understand that, then our entire way of business should be really different. But it's not different until we run into problems or we have clients cancel or they don't show up. That's when we start changing things. But if we had this perspective and we said, wow, our clients are providing enough for us to have a salary and to earn a living, and they're paying our bills so we can pay rent, they're buying our retail. Like, why can't we treat them like they're a VIP? And I think that's what we have to start looking at when we start understanding, recessions, we start understanding growth, we start understanding the retention that we may not have. You know, I wish I would have recorded my Q&A after my webinar because I think my Q&A was actually better than my webinar, to be honest. Um, I really wish I would have recorded it and kind of done like Oprah after the show. And I'm going to try to do a webinar every month. So I think I'm going to start recording it separately and then just posting it so that people can have, responses, because we had such an amazing Q&A after. But the theme from that is that people are just so scared to call someone who they haven't seen in 6 months or 3 months. And they don't know how to appreciate them outside of their birthday or outside of holidays. Like, you know, I always give out information, especially for businesses that do really well, because they understand that it's the random acts of love that are referred. When a client comes in and they realize that all day today, everyone that comes in is getting donuts, or everyone's coming in and they're getting roses, or everyone that comes in today has a Starbucks card for them as gratitude, that is what is referred. And I love when I talk to businesses who do their marketing and their appreciation in that way, because now, and then it's public, everybody wants to come in on a day where they get a free Starbucks card or they get a free donut or they get a free Bellini. Like, when you get to that level in your business, when you're about appreciation and you want people to refer the way they're being treated and the way they're being loved, then your focus on your business completely changes, because now you're treating everyone like a VIP. We always want to say, oh, I'm going to do a customer appreciation event and I'm going to, tell everybody what it's going to be. Yeah, it's the random ones that you do just because that have more impact. And I hope that makes sense. I'm very excited for our waxing business community. I will keep this video up. You can definitely post any questions. The link is in there. You can check it out. But yeah, there sometimes you have to put yourself in places to be held accountable, and then you also have to put yourself in spaces to be around people who are doing what you're wanting to do already. And we don't have a lot of things like that in our industry that have to do with hair removal. We just don't have it. The other thing is that some of them are very exclusive. You know what I'm saying? And it's more expensive to be surrounded by those types of businesses. I'm in a couple different groups. One isn't a great esthetician group. It's a private group. It's invitation only, but there's estheticians buying buildings. There's estheticians buying hydrofacials in cash. Like, not everybody is struggling, but it's hard for everyone to get into that type of environment, right? So for the waxing business community, there's businesses that are doing really, really well. And it's nice to be able to talk to someone and say, wow, I would love to be where you are, or to ask them an honest question, or to encourage them. Like, we got to get out of thinking that we are by ourselves. We're not. We all do the same thing. But when you surround yourself with people who are doing really well and they're focusing, you can't help but become focused. Okay? All right, so the link is up there. I'll end it now. I hope you all are doing well. If you have any questions, you can post below. All right, guys, take care. Bye.